Hi, and welcome to another episode of Bold Moves by Wanjiru Kihusa. My name is Wanjiru, and I'm happy to have you here. Now, in this podcast, we talk about getting out of our comfort zone, trying audacious, bold, brave things. And today, I want to talk about doing the internal work of confidence. I'm going to build on this from episode 1, where we talked about what if you fly. And I'm going to sort of talk about this also from the perspective that last week I talked about this exact topic during an International Women's Day event. And I was talking about doing the internal work of confidence. Now, I have had a lot of people walk up to me after a speaking engagement, a speaking role, or just seeing me online or doing something like that, and just coming to tell me, oh, you're so confident. How did you get that? Is it because you're an extrovert? It helps. It helps that I'm an extrovert, I'm outgoing. It's easier for me a little bit to put myself out there. But make no mistake, I have a ton of fear in me. And I have times when I'm like, I don't want to do that. I need to get myself out. And one of the examples I could give you is my family and I moved here for a job, my job that relocated us from Dubai into London. And we moved out here in July. And one of the things that has been very, very clear to me has been the need to make new friends and to build networks. Of course, first of all, for me, but also number 2, for my son, who is 7 years old. And so I need him to find play dates and make new friends at school. I need to organize and make him participate in stuff in church, in extracurricular activities. There's football club, there's the rugby, and here. And so I'm having to put myself out there. When it comes to my job, I am, as a humanitarian relief director, this is actually kind of a new field for me that I began last year. And so I have a ton of events that I want to attend. I have a knowledge gap that I'm looking to quickly close. And so it's been just, I need to get into the train because the event is in central London. Do not back out. It's 6 p.m. I should, I've already made dinner, or I cooked food yesterday that can be eaten today, or something like that, or my husband is fixing dinner, but it's cold outside, it's going to be dark soon. Do I really want to be going into central London? Do I want to navigate train, the tube and all of that? But I get myself out there because even I have a comfort zone. And so specifically on doing the internal work of confidence, I would say it is hard and it requires a lot of self-awareness. The self-awareness is one. What is the goal? What do I want out of this situation? That clarity of purpose, that clarity of this is what I am going after. It could be, honestly, this is a new job I am applying for, or this is a new job I have got and I need to prove myself, right? And there are things I don't know, and I may need to drop somebody an email and request them to jump on a call with me so that I can learn about that topic. It could be that you're starting of a new business, or you're venturing into a new market, and you may need to put yourself out there and go for those kind of events so that you can go out there and learn. And not a lot of people love small talk and networking of, hi, my name is, hi, this is who I am, and putting yourself out there. But, that's something is good for your business. And so you need to do it. And so it could be applying for awards. It could be applying for a scholarship, moving abroad. It could be anything that you're looking for. But that clarity of purpose is extremely, extremely important. When I was running Still a Mom, if I could just come back to the story that I had begun telling in the previous episode, I would say I wanted a world where women, when they lost their children, and also dads as well, received support instead of gossip and a lack of awareness and the tabooness that surrounds stillbirth and miscarriages and child death. And so my goal was, I want to create awareness. I want to teach people how better to support bereaved parents. And number 3, I want to learn what other people around the world are doing. And so with sort of, that's particularly in running the nonprofit I was running, with those 3 very clear goals, then 1, I sought media opportunities. Some of them came to me, some of them I looked for. At the time I was blogging, and so I was sharing a lot of this online. And I remember the first time, those of you in Kenya get this, but I remember the first time I came onto Instagram and I saw Victoria Rubadiri, who's now my really good friend, but that time we didn't know each other. And it said, but Victoria Rubadiri has followed you. I was like, that's cool. And then she got into my DMs and said, hey, around that time, by the way, Mark Zuckerberg had shared about his wife having a miscarriage. And so it was quite a topic at the time. And so Victoria came on and said, hey, we want to run a segment on NTV. Do you want to come on? Do you mind to come talk about the work that you've been doing? When I Googled and looked for this, you were the only one doing it. And so that was my sort of really all the effort that I was putting in the online space, I would say, was rewarded, because at that time, of course, I was doing a lot of search engine optimization, making sure that I'm easy to find online. But anyway, sort of to say that there have been times when I have been the one that has done the knocking on doors, especially on the element of creating awareness, because for me that was a goal. And I went on to be on NTV, Citizen TV, BBC Africa, BBC World Service. And why? It wasn't so that I could see myself on a screen or because of whatever situation, but it was mostly because I wanted to create awareness. That was a goal. And with that clarity of purpose, I went after that thing. And of course, it may have included writing down, what do I need to get to that part? So clarity of purpose is extremely important. The second thing is, I would say, self-awareness that is both balanced with not being too caught up in your weaknesses, but also not letting your strengths make you proud. That balance is important. So self-awareness, and one of the activities that I did with the ladies that I was talking to on this event last week was to do sort of an exercise to identify our superpowers and our values. That self-awareness is because confidence cannot be externally driven, but it has to be intrinsic. It's like self-esteem. It's self. You have to think well of yourself. You don't have to think lowly of yourself. You don't need to think very highly of yourself. Some amount of modesty is good, because we are not narcissists. But at the same time, that awareness of what are my capabilities. It could be my skill set that I have, tangible skill sets. It could be the experiences, lived experiences, work experience. All of those combined together this is what I bring to the table, and I am aware of it, and it gives me confidence to therefore chase after that thing I want. And so let's talk about superpowers. Let me ask you, what are you good at? Like, if you are told to tell us about yourself in a meeting or something like that, what are you good at? And a lot of people know what they're not good at. They know their weaknesses, but they do not know their strengths and what they do very well. So let me give you an example. I am a good communicator. I'm a good speaker. I am also a great collaborator. I am really good at creating and building relationships. Could be because I'm a loud person generally, and it's easier for me to just go say, hi, what's your name? But I make friends easily and I build relationships easily. And because of that, even when I'm working in the office and I'm working on a project and I'm like, oh, I know who this project needs, and I'm able to email someone and say, hey, I'm running a project and I think you'd be really great for that. And I'm able to bring people at this moment in my job across countries, across departments and functions to work on a project together. That is a strength of mine. That's something I know I am good at, And so with that in mind, my confidence is built. I feel confident to put myself out there because I have a good view of what I am capable of. I do have weaknesses. The flip side of people that talk with ease is we can talk too much. We can interrupt in meetings, and those are things that I am constantly working on, to listen, to truly listen, not with the intention to respond or to talk as soon as that person is done talking, but I am teaching myself to listen and to pause. And in some cases, I have gone into meetings and be like, okay, I want at least 20 minutes to go without my saying something, because I want to listen to everybody in the room. And especially when you're leading a team and you have people that work for you, then the listening part is important. But what I'm trying to say is it's good to have a clear view of what is it that you bring to the table. Is it your analytical mind? Oh, my co-founder, Rehab, shout out. She was such a great balance to me when we were running Still a Mom. I was so good with thinking about the future and strategy and how to get there. And sometimes I would find that details were bogging me down, or the running of the office, or even with partner meetings, and she would always rein me in, bring me in, my excitement to sort of bring me in. And that's because she's very analytical and very strategic, very clear. And it was just lovely to work with her. That's what she brought to the table. And so I would like to ask you as well, what is it that you're good at? What is it that you're good at? And so that's part of your internal work of confidence. Now, let's talk about why confidence has to be internal. There is the external sources of confidence, and these are people, other people, compliments from your family, from someone in the office, or somebody who saw you do something and they're like, chef's kiss, that was amazing. So yeah, and it makes you swell up with pride, and you're like, oh, that is amazing. I feel so good about myself. That's external validation. Those of us who are who love to hear what other people think about us, what they thought of the presentation. It was great. Thank you very much. And that's amazing. That's okay. But that cannot be it. Why? Because that is not dependable all the time. And it's not because your greatness or your awesomeness changes. No, it's because also that people are having a lot in their lives. Even your loved ones you might do something, and it's not that they weren't paying attention. It's just that they may not have noticed through no fault of their own, or they noticed and they wanted to say something. They wanted to text you and say, I saw you do X, Y, Z, and then they forgot, because everybody's sort of doing life. And so we can, including our spouses, our husbands, our partners, they know you are awesome, and they sometimes will tell you and sometimes they will not. And it's not because you stopped being great all of a sudden. It's just that they're also going through their own things and their own life. And so with that in mind, our confidence cannot be external. We cannot be waiting for external validation. We have to do internal work. And so that's, again, like I said, doing an analysis of what you're good at, what you bring to the table. And number two is that awareness, the self-awareness of what your failings are, what you're learning at the moment is, but also just what you're currently learning and what you bring to the table. So that's confidence, doing the internal work of confidence. I would like to end this part by saying a good portion is also understanding your values and getting feedback from people. Again, that balance between, I love to work in spaces that are welcoming and that, are kind and empathetic and thoughtful, and to have people around us we can go for important critical feedback and say, how did I do that? So we are constantly growing and we are constantly developing ourselves. And so I hope this has been helpful. I hope that you spend this week, this month, anytime when you're hearing this podcast, doing the internal work of confidence without having to wait for the times people clap for you, because it's not every single time you're going to get applause. And then also balancing between not just knowing where it is that you fail at and what you need to grow at, but also knowing what you're really good at and what you bring to the table. And that could be in your skill set, because that's what you're trained to do, but it could also be in your lived experience. You've been through it, you've seen it. And you know that you can add value to the conversation that's going on right now, to the discussion in the room. And actually, this is where I'd like to close off. Please realize that when you don't participate or don't show up with confidence, you're robbing the people around you the opportunity to hear from you, robbing them the diversity of thought. And one practical thing I told myself, especially when I began, when I moved to Dubai, and I was a community relations manager at UPS, the logistics company, specifically UPS Foundation. And I'd find myself in meetings with government and senior leaders and our C-suite people when they'd come visit Dubai, and I would join them for meetings. And one of the things, when I was already done, like, oof, pinch me, look at where I am. What is this room that I am in? When I would be done looking around and just marveling at how far God has brought me, I told myself that I will never leave any meeting having not said something. And not to talk just for the sake of talking. That has made me, I prepare aggressively for whatever it is, for whatever meeting I am going for, or whatever project I'm going to do. So I prepare, I do my homework. But I have realized that my voice, again, because I notice I'm the only one of my kind, whether that is being a woman, being a Black woman at that, I realize that my voice is needed in that room. And so one of the things as a practice for confidence has been to not leave the room without saying something. And so that I can say something important and something useful, then I do my homework. So I'm going to leave you with this. Please do the internal work of confidence. Work on yourself. Have a balanced, good view. Most of the time we feel very lowly about ourselves. Please have a fair view of what it is that you're good at and who you are. Spend some time getting feedback from the people around you, your direct reports, your teams, the people that work with you, whether you're running a business, your family members, your loved ones, because they know you and they love you regardless. Get feedback, and all together create this picture so that you can come to a place where you feel you're confident, and therefore you can be bold. And so this has been Bold Moves, and I hope that you have a good week. Go out there and go in confidence. Thank you.